At the end of Wednesday Season 1, it felt like everything had wrapped up. Tyler was unmasked as the Hyde. Laurel Gates was exposed, faced off against Wednesday in a final battle, and then she vanished. But here's the thing, she literally disappeared. The show never shows Laurel dying. There's no confirmation that she's actually gone for good, and strangely, no one, not a single character mentions her after that. That silence? It's weirder than it seems, especially when you catch a detail almost everyone missed. Christina Ricci, the actress who plays Laurel, is listed on IMDb as appearing in Season 2, but in only one episode. Why bring back an actress that iconic just for a brief cameo? Why keep her presence under wraps? And more importantly, why act like her story is over when the show never truly gave it an ending? What you're about to see isn't just some wild theory. It's a breakdown based on overlooked clues, technical details, and a narrative pattern the show already used in Season 1. But before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Most people who watch our videos aren't subscribed yet, so don't miss out on all the latest breakdowns and theories from the Wednesday universe. Since the very first episode, Marilyn Thornhill came across as one of the most genuinely warm and approachable figures at Nevermore Academy. Kind, supportive, a little quirky in all the right ways. She felt like a safe space in a school full of secrets. But behind that friendly persona was Laurel Gates, a woman hiding a much darker past. Thought to be long dead, Laurel was actually living under a false identity, carrying on the legacy of a family consumed by hatred toward the outcast community. Her mission wasn't just personal, it was generational, and she was willing to do whatever it took to finish what her ancestors started. Her plan was methodical: awaken the Hyde inside Tyler, manipulate him from the shadows, and carry out her family's legacy of vengeance against the outcasts. And for a while, it worked. Laurel orchestrated nearly every death in the season. She revived a long-buried legend, infiltrated Nevermore under a fake identity, and deceived everyone around her, all while laying the groundwork for her ultimate revenge. But here's where things get strange, not within the story itself, but in the way it's presented. In the final confrontation, Laurel holds Wednesday at gunpoint. Just as things are about to take a deadly turn, Eugene arrives, his bees swarming in for the rescue. Laurel is overwhelmed by the attack, stumbles, and falls. Then Wednesday moves in and delivers a brutal kick while she's down. And here's the part that matters. The camera shifts to Laurel's point of view, and then blackout. Cut to the next scene. That's it. No death confirmed, no final breath, no dramatic last words. Just silence. And what follows is even more telling. No one in the story talks about her again. No investigation, no questions, no closure. It's as if the series suddenly forgot the main villain ever existed. But with Wednesday, things are rarely accidental. And when someone like Laurel Gates disappears into silence, that silence usually means something. Not one teacher brings her up. No student questions what happened. There's no police investigation, not even a throwaway line from Wednesday herself. It's as if the show just moved on, like Laurel Gates had never even been there, which is especially strange when you consider how central she was to the entire plot. She was the architect of the chaos, the villain whose actions shaped every major twist of the season. And that silence, that total erasure of a character built up over several episodes, it doesn't fit the show's pattern at all. Characters who die like Dr. Kinbot or the mayor get fully fleshed out death scenes. The aftermath is explored, their absence is felt. With Laurel, none of that happens. And that's not a mistake, that's a choice. When a series like Wednesday deliberately avoids showing a death, especially of a major antagonist, it usually means one thing: they're saving that character for later. Laurel Gates wasn't just the villain of Season 1. She might just be the bridge between the end of Season 2 and the beginning of Season 3. If you go back and rewatch the final episode of Season 1 carefully, there's something most people completely overlook. Laurel Gates doesn't get a real ending. The character simply vanishes. No explanation, no confirmation, no consequences. And that's a big deal. Not just because she was the main villain of the season, but because Wednesday is a show built on details. Nothing happens by accident. When a major character disappears from the narrative like this, odds are they're not gone. They're just off screen. Think about it. Every single character who dies in Wednesday gets closure. The mayor, we don't just see him injured, we get a full funeral scene. Dr. Kinbot, killed by the Hyde. The police investigate, characters talk about it, and it becomes part of the ongoing mystery. But Laurel? In the final episode, there's nothing No follow-up, no questions, no one even mentions her again. And we're not talking about a background character here. Laurel Gates was the mastermind behind the entire conspiracy. She resurrected the Hyde myth, manipulated Tyler, and orchestrated multiple murders. For the show to just drop her without even a single line of dialogue, that's not just unusual, that's deafening. Now, pair that silence with a small but telling detail on IMDb. Christina Ricci is listed as part of the Season 2 cast, but here's the twist, she's only credited for one episode, just one. Could it be the final episode? That's the most likely guess, unless, of course, this is just a brief photo cameo, but that doesn't really hold up, and here's why. If it were simply a flashback or a visual reference, the credit would say archive footage, but it doesn't. Christina Ricci is listed as cast, which strongly implies new footage, a fresh scene, a real appearance. It's almost as if the show planted a seed at the end of Season 1, then kept Laurel off the board for all of Season 2. Only to bring her back in the final moments as the hook for Season 3. And if that's true, the story of Laurel Gates is far from over. In Wednesday, nothing is ever what it seems. The rules are fluid, reality shifts, and if Season 1 taught us anything, it's that appearances are part of the game. From the very first episode, we're conditioned to question everything. Every scene pushes us to suspect someone new. Motivations are disguised. Clues are hidden in plain sight. Characters wear masks, sometimes literally, but mostly metaphorically. And that's where Laurel Gates fits in perfectly. After Wednesday delivers what appears to be the final blow in the last episode, Laurel simply vanishes from the story. And the way it happens, it feels too intentional, too abrupt. The lack of resolution isn't just a narrative gap, it's a statement. Wednesday may have taken her down, but that doesn't mean Laurel Gates is dead. The show never confirms it. There's no body, no investigation, no aftermath, and for a villain who caused that much chaos, vanishing without explanation isn't just strange, it's suspicious. And if you've seen my previous video about Principal Larissa Weems, you'll know there's a real case to be made for her return even though we watched her die on screen. So when it comes to Laurel, who didn't get any kind of resolution, the door feels even more wide open. Her absence doesn't close the chapter, it leaves it hanging, which might be exactly what the show wants, because Laurel Gates may be off screen for now, but her story might not be over. Not yet. In the teasers and official trailers Netflix has dropped over the past few months, we get a glimpse of what's coming in Season 2. New students arriving at Nevermore, a new interim headmaster stepping in to replace Principal Weems, internal shifts in how the school is run, and a version of Wednesday who's now being watched more closely than ever before. But hidden beneath all those surface changes are two very specific clues that hint at something much bigger, something that directly connects this new season with the unresolved threads of Season 1. And yes, it leads straight back to Laurel Gates. The first clue comes from a teaser where the Addams family is seen visiting the room that once belonged to Marilyn Thornhill, the alias used by Laurel throughout Season 1. It's a quick scene, easy to overlook, but if you're paying attention, there's one object that stands out, a framed photograph of Laurel. The camera lingers on it just long enough to feel deliberate. This isn't set dressing, it's a signal, a visual anchor, a quiet reminder that she's still part of this world. And then there's the introduction of a new character, Agnes DeMille, played by Evie Templeton. She shows up briefly in the latest promo shots and teaser clips, and already she's raising suspicions. There's something about the way she watches Wednesday, subtle, calculated, too intentional to be coincidence. Once again, we see a familiar pattern forming, a red-haired woman with a gentle, almost harmless presence slowly blending into the background of Nevermore's halls. Sound familiar? Agnes could be the mirror image of Laurel, or more than that, she could be Laurel's continuation. This theory gets even stronger when we consider how Season 1 was structured. Disguise wasn't just a plot twist, it was a narrative weapon. Laurel Gates fooled everyone by pretending to be a teacher. So what's stopping her or her legacy from doing it again, this time through a student? In this second season, Agnes might be carrying out Laurel's plan. Whether as a pawn, an accomplice, or something more calculated, she could be acting as Laurel's eyes inside Nevermore. And when the final episode drops, that's when the mask could come off, literally, and Laurel returns just in time to set the stage for Season 3. If that's the case, then Season 3 won't just be a new chapter. It'll be the long-awaited conclusion to a story that started in Season 1 and was intentionally left in the shadows throughout Season 2. Laurel Gates never got an ending, just a cut, and when a character this central disappears without a real conclusion, that silence starts to feel suspicious. The forgotten photo frame, the hidden name on IMDb, the new red-haired student who watches more than she speaks. Taken separately, maybe they're just odd details, but together they might be something more, a narrative thread carefully laid out beneath the surface. Season 2 might keep Laurel off-screen, but that doesn't mean she's out of the story, and when that final episode arrives, it might not just be a return. It could be the next big plot twist, but what do you think? Is Laurel Gates still alive and possibly connected to Agnes? Share your theory in the comments and see what others are saying too. If you want to dive into the breakdown about how Principal Weems could still return, click this video here. Or if you're looking for all the Easter eggs and hidden clues from Season 1, this one's for you, and see you there in a few seconds.